It all began 15 years ago from the present day. The day a portal appeared on Earth for the first time, which was an entrance for monsters from different dimensions. Also, in-game skills such as levels and status appeared in thin air. And finally, people with powers and abilities started to show up, powers enough to fight the monsters from different dimensions. These people were soon termed adventurers. Since people have the choice to select their own combat class, I decided to choose the class with a speed affinity, the Thief class. Day by day I accumulated experience and soon I climbed onto the top of the ranks of the strongest adventurers. Now, people started calling me the Sword God of Speed. Years passed and the portals kept getting worse. I was on the front lines protecting my country and my people. Until, that unfortunate day. That day, I got mercilessly kicked out of my team for being weak. No matter how much I begged, they didn't take heed of my words. Like a used tissue I was tossed aside. Soon, the guild demoted me and I lost my authority to enter high-level portals. While I reaped, my ex-team, the Sword of Glory, was dispatched to China and they successfully conquered the difficult Taotai Palace portal. That day I regretted choosing the Thief class. As I thought, a siren rang. A S-class monster appeared in my city Tokyo and no strong adventurers were here. So I decided to take the matter into my hands, even though deep down I knew, things would end up badly. I tried to buy time for the nearby citizens to evacuate these buildings. The monster was faster and stronger than I thought. The difference in our level was too huge. All my attacks were of no use. Since, winning was no longer an option and my death came closer with every second. I gambled away my last move with the Thief's Claw skill. If successful, this skill steals an enemy item, and since the monster in front of me is freakishly strong, the probability of an unique item is very high. As soon as I used it, my body stung. The monster's claws ran deep down my body and warm blood spread everywhere. On my dangling life, I noticed something I held in my right hand. It looked like a pocked clock. The info window appeared, declaring that the item was a mythic grade and its power was to turn back time. This was the first time I ever saw or heard of a mythic grade item. Before I could do anything, my consciousness slowly slipped into darkness. This was annoying. Yanking my consciousness back into light, I yelled for the time to rewind and the last thing I remembered before I died was a big claw, deep inside my torso. I woke up. At first, I felt like it was a dream, but then a pop-up window appeared telling me that the time rewinded to 10 years ago. To the time when I had yet to select my class. This time I am all set to become the strongest adventurer ever. I brushed my teeth as I watched the news. The country was in havoc. This time I knew I could save it, since I had a great advantage, which was the knowledge of the next 10 years. I looked at my status. I was yet to reach level 10 so that I could choose a class. The easy way to increase my level is through the small portals guarded by the guilds. As I killed the low-level monsters, a man appeared in front of me, stealing my prey. He introduced himself as Ohara Kenji and also as the tutorial dude. He was talkative but didn't look like a bad guy. A few days later I finally reached level 10. Now it was time for me to select my class, but first I had to choose a skill. The skill which could let me reach my goal class was Fall Resistance. No matter how much Kenji squealed, I ignored him. Leveling up Fall Resistance unlocked a few classes and among them was, the hidden class, Gravity User. Even in the future, no one could master this class because of how tough and complicated it was to use it. But as a matter of fact, I know that this class is the strongest. Finally, I chose the Gravity User class, with the aim to reach the top. Since this class was weak for close-range battles, Kenji discouraged me to give up on being an adventurer. But again, people in this time period, people thought that closed-ranged was the strongest. A high-pitched yell caught our attention, followed by the usual monstrous sounds. There was a sighting of a red cap, level 17. It was the same level as of Kenji and it was very rare for a monster of that level to appear here. Heroically, Kenji dashed towards the monster with a large sword in his hand, trying to buy time for the newbie adventurers around us. Normally adventurers could beat monsters with the same level as theirs, but they needed experience. And it was something Kenji lacked. He panicked and called around for backup, still maintaining his foot on the ground. The difference between my level and the monster's was vast. A single attack from it could kill me. Also, I didn't know anything about my skills yet. Normally anyone would have stayed behind, but I couldn't accept it. For a good person like him to die. So, I took hold of my sword and went for it, to fight an enemy who was much stronger than me. Helpless Kenji yelled at me to back off, but I kept going forward. Clenching my palm around the hilt of the sword, I pulled it to attack the monster. The weakness of a magic class is their lack of body strength. But my class is different. Using my MP, which are the magical points, I can trade them to temporarily boost my physical abilities by a good margin. By decreasing the gravity's force on my body, I zoomed past the monster and Kenji looked at me dumbstruck. Reading the movements of the monster, I tried my best to match its speed. Kenji snapped out of his shock when I yelled at him to attack the monster. With his sword high in the air, he charged toward the monster, attracting its attention. Exactly what I wanted. I used the spell Gravity Bindings and trapped the goblin in its position. Genji leaped into the air and slammed his huge sword on top of its head, killing it in a single blow. A window popped up in front of me. I gained 28 experience points.